chest feeder, birthing body. By being more trans inclusive, are we erasing women?
People see chest meat as my gender, even though I literally have a mask that says my pronouns, he, him.
Protect Black birthing people.
As a woman or any menstruating person in this country.
Hey guys, it's Misha and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about the erasure of women and look at some terminology that the woke cult is telling us we have to use now. We're also going to take a look at some Dr. Phil to hear from these trans activists. But before we begin, please make sure you are subscribed and have hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. So if you didn't already know, the word woman is not inclusive enough. There is some new terminology that is politically correct that we have to use. I have a list here of the gender neutral terms so that you can be trans inclusive. So instead of woman, you should now be saying womb carrier, a person who menstruates, or uterus bearer. We have to say menstrual care or period care because obviously plenty of men get periods. That's why we're putting tampons in the men's restroom in universities.
What about a period aisle not labeled feminine hygiene? Periods can be a really tough and dangerous time for people that aren't cisgender women. Two-spirits, trans men, non-binary people, and genderqueer people can all have periods.
We shouldn't say mothers anymore. We should say birthing parent or birthing body. And the NHS says that we should use chest feeding instead of breastfeeding. I'm noticing how the focus is all on erasing women and not men. As someone who actually believes in equal rights for women, I'm a little bit confused right now. Where are the feminists? We have males, biological males, telling women what it means to be a woman. What does this mean for women's rights? And where are the new terms for men? Actually, I did remember there is this TikTok. Listen to this.
People who can get other people pregnant, people who are at risk of testicular cancer, and so on and so forth. This is much more inclusive.
Okay, so no more ladies and gentlemen. We now say uterus bearers and people that are at risk for developing testicular cancer. It doesn't have the same ring to it, but that doesn't matter. It's mostly women that are part of this super woke cult and far left in general. So yeah, why is that, right? I think women are more prone to falling victim to the social contagion and going along with what everyone else is saying because they don't want to be excommunicated from the cult. Women tend to be more prone to that. Of course, not all of them, but a lot of them. Another reason I think this is happening is because since birth rates are declining, less and less women are choosing to have children. That motherly instinct actually comes into play here when they are treating the marginalized groups of people, the oppressed people, as children. For example, this happens with race because, people of color, we need to have the government helping them. We need to have schools helping them. They can't get into a good university on their own. That's the narrative from the woke cult. So we need to help them, right? They can't do anything on their own, which is actually very racist, but you don't see that when you're on the left. But that's what they believe. And so their motherly instinct, I think, kicks in at that point. Same thing with trans people because we're viewing trans people as children who have temper tantrums if they are misgendered. So I think that men probably care a little bit less about what their peers think if they don't want to call themselves a person who is at risk of developing testicular cancer. A majority of it is women, white, liberal women who want to treat oppressed groups of people as like children, pretty much. I'd rather not be called a uterus bearer, but I remember it does not matter what I want. It's time for women to shut up again and listen to the men. And the men say that they're women. And because they don't have a uterus, we can't just say woman because some women don't have a uterus. Some women don't get periods. Yes, it's true, but not because they're men. Specifically, we have to listen to the men who like to cosplay as women. And you see a lot of it when it comes to people like Mulvaney, who is literally making a mockery out of women. Today, I'm gonna go frolic in the fields and wear a dress and paint my nails, and that's what makes me a woman. No, Dylan, I could do none of those things, women can do none of those things, and we would still be women. But Dylan thinks that dressing up like a little girl and prancing around like he's in a psych ward is what it means to be a woman.
I am Eloise. I am 6. I'm a city child. I live at the Plaza Hotel, which is huge and wonderful.
Let dolls be dolls, please. Let dolls be dolls, please.
So they can never use science or biological reality to define what it means to be a woman, because to them, again, it's all about how they feel, or they say, it's not a man. Okay, what's a man? It's not a woman. But for being so stunning and brave, Dylan gets to make advertisements for Nike and for Bud Light. So with the whole sports bra thing with Nike, trans women may want to buy a sports bra. Okay, you want a trans woman advertising it? Okay, is Dylan the best option? You had to find a man who calls it days of girlhood, by the way, not even womanhood, and says that being a woman is falling and being afraid of bugs. that's the best representation you could have found? Or, you know, on day 5 of being a girl, it's because he's emotionally unstable and he cried 5 times today. I mean, really? You couldn't find anyone else? Or the same guy who went to the president to talk about how children need to get mutilated and sterilized because that's gender-affirming healthcare. Thankfully though, Bud Light sales have gone down drastically, so hopefully they're learning their lesson. Even if you aren't a woman, let's say you're a man, let's say you're a gay man, they're going to tell you that you have to be attracted to biological women because having a genital preference or a sexuality is transphobic. So if you don't want to sleep with a trans woman, let's say, or a trans man, you have to because of you're transphobic if you don't. What are you talking about? And they're calling the TERFs, the creepy ones, for even mentioning genitals. Meanwhile, they're saying that your sexuality isn't valid, it's actually transphobic. You have to sleep with trans people. That's not creepy. That's not creepy. That's not conversion therapy. That's totally fine. You're the creep for having a sexuality. They just keep lying to everyone, telling them that being a woman has nothing to do with chromosomes or your female anatomy and has everything to do with how you feel, which makes no sense at all. Please explain what you have to feel in order to be a woman. I would love a biological man to attempt and explain what you have to feel or how you have to act in order to be a woman without resorting back to a sexist stereotype. Because you look at Dylan's videos and it's about being a shopaholic and being clumsy, which, by the way, this exaggerated character that he puts on, I have never met, and women watching this, please let me know in the comments if you have. I have personally never met anyone as insufferable as this character that Dylan puts on. But for doing this, Dylan gets opportunities and gets to be in these ads that women, actual women, could have been paid to do. So now let's watch some Dr. Phil and see what the activists have to say.
It's important that women be able to say that women are adult human females without being told that that's hurtful.
Listen, you can be hurt by that. That's your problem. Honestly, that is a problem though. Go get help for that. But then the next step shouldn't be like, oh, you hurt this person, you need to be expelled or you need to be arrested, which is all happening, by the way.
Why do you say in the same breath that you're open to this conversation when technically you're not open to this conversation because you're still speaking from the space of what the reality is? That's not being open.
If you start telling me that we are not on planet Earth and you call that a debate, and I'm saying, no, we are, that's me not being open-minded, or that's me just saying, no, that's reality. Like, we're on planet Earth. I'm sorry, you don't. Like, this is so stupid. This is so stupid.
And I'm learning a lot today. Let me tell you, I'm a history teacher, high school history teacher, and I have a lot to give back now into the classroom because of this discussion.
Great, then he can go to his classroom and teach this to the next generation. Awesome.
There are unique issues that affect us in a way that you will never understand.
Why not have another group of women join your fight and it be more force in numbers
no kidding,
than for
dude.
you
Yeah,
to
we need
exclude
allies.
us based on what you're talking about?
But it's not another group of women, let's say, oh, why aren't you including African American women in your feminism? Yeah, that's valid. This is not that. This is saying, why aren't you including biological men? Because they're not women. What kind of question is that? It's either biological men with a mental illness, gender dysphoria, who live life presenting as a woman. Okay, fine, but you're not a woman. You never experienced natural puberty or menopause and the pros and cons of growing up as a woman, like a biological woman. Or it's a biological man who likes to play pretend and cosplay as a woman.
Day 12 of being a girl, and we're gonna go buy tampons. This thing does not go up inside you. Like, where does that go?
These feminists are so inclusive now that they want to include men. Men entering women-only spaces, and no one ever asks how this is affecting real women, biological women. It's all about, well, how does the biological man feel? Well, how do the actual women feel? How about the instances of rape already that have occurred because of these new self-ID laws, which allow anyone to say that they're a woman? They don't have to present as a woman. They don't have to have gender dysphoria. They don't have to do anything. If they say that they are a woman, let them into the women's restroom. That's okay, right? It doesn't matter what actual women feel. It's all about the trans person's feelings. And my question is why? Why does the trans person matter more than any other person on this planet And why are we treating them like children? Like any wrong move will cause them to delete themselves, and therefore we have to protect them like kids. These are grown men and women, okay? These are grown men and women who have to realize that going into the women's restroom, if you're not even presenting as a female, is going to make other women uncomfortable. That's not to say, oh, you're automatically a predator if you're trans. No, of course not. But you have to take other people into consideration. You're not the only person on this planet. Again, there's a lot of narcissism happening right here. The outro of this video is me.
And tell me what in the world is going on.
These feminists are literally fighting for their own erasure. But we as women are different, and we have to remember that. Doesn't make us better than men, doesn't make us worse than men, but we are different. And especially, most importantly, we have different biology, okay? That's what makes us women. And the trans activists like to call women who are speaking up about this TERFs, or transgender exclusionary radical feminists, I think.
I am fucking tired of TERFs making a mockery of real women. At the end of the day, you're out here thinking that trans women are making a mockery of you when it's the exact opposite. You are pretending that you know that you are a woman when the only people here who know that for sure are the ones who have put in the work to understand themselves. The trans women. I don't even identify as a woman, and I'm more of a woman than you.
They think it's like a bad thing to say that, like, oh, she's a TERF, right? They call J.K. Rowling a TERF all the time. Listen, if living in biological reality means being a TERF, then I'm 100% a TERF. You can call me a starfish, but if it means me speaking up against men taking opportunities away from women, or me speaking up against men entering into women-only spaces, you can call me whatever you want. But let me know what you guys think. Also, make sure you are subscribed and have hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.